Alright, so now we have generated pressure with the Nex10 pump into the SFT-120. We're sitting at about 4,000 psi. Our heat is stabilized. We are in a static position. We are ready to start flowing dynamically. What that means is we'll open the static dynamic valve before we open the back pressure regulator. So we open this valve, add up all the way. That allows flow to the back pressure regulator, which will allow us to flow into our sample. So we start cracking this micrometering valve open. As we start flowing CO2, you'll hear the CO2 pump start to actuate to maintain the pressure in the system. So currently, and when we start flow, we want to reset the counter. So we're going slowly right now. You can increase the flow a little bit. The pump strokes will increase to keep up the pressure. So our pressure is still around 4,000 psi. We're flowing through the system. We're capturing every pump stroke. Every pump stroke is adding the milliliters of CO2 flow through the system. At this point, we're flowing dynamically. You can flow for a period of time based on your experiments. A lot of people will flow for a period, turn it back to a static situation where you're going to soak your sample. So to do that, you just close the static dynamic valve. The pump should slow down. We're still at 4,000 psi, so you can soak for whatever period you like. If you want to start the static dynamic flow again, or the dynamic flow, open this valve. Pump starts to actuate again to keep up the pressure. We're flowing, and you can do this as many times as you like. For as long period of time as you want. The static flow, the static soaks, the dynamic flows, that's up to you. When you're ready to vent, your experiment's all done, you want to stop the system, vent it, collect your sample. So we'll shut the static dynamic valve, we'll close the CO2 valve, so this prevents CO2 from coming from the bottle to the extractor through the pump. We'll shut off the air. I always like to close that up, and then once all these valves are closed, to vent the system, we're going to vent through your sample. Again, your sample should be vented out to the hood or a safe location. That all the way up. Start your flow, your pressure's coming down, and then it's just a matter of waiting till your gauge says 0 before you can check your sample.